Jammu and Kashmir results are a shot in the arm. Big comeback for the Abdullahs, the NC, and particularly Omar Abdullah. A big one for the Aam Aadmi Party as well as it wins Doda. But Congress and the PDP have historic lows. Omar Abdullah in the morning posted these pictures after his 7K run on counting day, saying he hopes this counting day would be better than the last one, which didn't end personally well for him. And sure enough, many are calling this the resurrection of the Abdullahs, particularly Omar Abdullah and the NC as a whole. Omar Abdullah in 2002 assembly elections, remember, took over the reins of the NC from his father Farooq Abdullah, but lost in Gandarbal. 2004 Lok Sabha polls, he won from Srinagar for the third time. In 2008 assembly polls, he regained Gandarbal, became the youngest chief minister of Jammu and Kashmir. In 2014 assembly polls, he won from Birwa, but as PDP, BJP formed the government, it spelled an end to NC Congress rule. In 2024 Lok Sabha polls, Omar Abdullah was left with an embarrassing defeat in Baramulla. And months later, the 2024 assembly polls, he has won both from Gandarbal and Budgam and is now set to be the chief minister, the first chief minister of the UT or the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, elected, the first elected chief minister. And importantly, NC has emerged as a single largest party, but it's also a seismic shift in Jammu and Kashmir's political landscape, and numbers say it the best. Let us break this down for you. When compared to 2014 NC, on your screens, of course, from 15 is up to 42. Congress, though, in the ruling alliance and possibly the government as well, has been halved from 12 to just 6, which is one seat in Jammu. PDP, 28 in 2014, is down to 3 now, nothing short of being wiped off. It is PDP's worst performance ever in Jammu and Kashmir, from being a principal party, remember. BJP, 25 in 2014, despite this defeat, this time again is up in its seat tally from 25 to 29 and has given its best performance in J&K, still, of course, falling short. And when you look at the big takeaways, Aam Aadmi Party will find a massive mention as Aam Aadmi Party's Mehraj Malik wins Doda a first. Let's just open this up to our panelists at this point. I'm being joined by Adv Neelofar Masood, who is a leader with the NC, J.L. Raina, who is a former MLC and spokesperson of BJP in Jammu and Kashmir, Advocate Ahmad Ayaz, who's a political analyst, and Tausif Shah, senior leader PDP, as well as Madhavan Narayanan, senior journalist. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been a long day and you all have joined us at this hour. Advocate Neelofar Masood, many congratulations. Big win. How do you really look at this win? What is the big takeaway for Omar Abdullah's J&K NC at this point?
Thank you very much, Sneha. Today is the historical day and in fact the historical victory, and we dedicate it to the people of Jammu and Kashmir who have given us the clear mandate, and we express our gratitude to the people because without their vote and support it would not have been possible, and we are sure to come to the expectations of people of Jammu and Kashmir. And today's vote, it is in fact a clear verdict against the orders which were passed by the BJP and the center, in fact, on 5th August 2019, when the Article 370 35A was abrogated. And we are very much hopeful that since people have pinned their hope to the alliance, and the national conference will come up to their expectations. We're very hopeful for that. And today is the victory
Advocate
of peace,
Neelofar,
perseverance, and patience which the people of Jammu and Kashmir have depicted on 5th August 2019. Yes, Neha?
Advocate Neelofar Masood, while you've of course won this election in a great way, it's a big resurrection, it's a big comeback. You've also given a lifeline to your ally. Do you see it in that sense? Many are saying you've breathed oxygen into a party that has been struggling, and even in this election, so much so.
No, I don't think that we were struggling because you know what happened on 5th August 2019. It was only Jammu Kashmir National Conference who stood by the people, who fought for the people, and today it is the
No,
victory of the
Advocate
people.
Neelofar Masood, I'm not talking about national conference. I'm talking about people saying you've breathed oxygen into your ally. I'm referring to Congress.
Yeah, I won't say that. They have been very important component of our alliance. So it's the defeat of the BJP that is, in fact, only because of the alliance, because they have worked together and in a very cordial atmosphere.
Right. Advocate Ahmad Ayaz, if I can get you in, how do you look at the Congress's performance at this point? I mean, let's face it, you're going to be in the Congress is going to be in the government. Congress is going to be there. It's going to be possibly having important role in the government as well. It's going to be part of the government. But look at its seats from 12 to 6. It's been halved. Would you even see this as a victory?
It's not that encouraging as it should have been. Looking at the significance of the elections, which have been held, and then the participation made with the people. Of course, not because of the some love they have towards the political parties, because of the conditions and the situation they have been undergoing for last many years, particularly during the this central rule by the BJP being administered at the governor level or the LG level. See, it's as a result of that, the conditions under which people have been going, that they came and participated hugely, and with lot of that energy that they tried to see that they elect their own government and see that the representatives, their
Right.
representatives
No,
are
but do you
available to them
agree?
for.
Do you agree with
So
what's happened in Haryana? Do you agree with what's happened in Haryana, with what's happened in Jammu and Kashmir? Allies of Congress are already started blaming them. India Alliance partners have started blaming Congress. In fact, its allies are saying Congress cannot win elections without them. Do you see that the alliance with NC has come as a big oxygen support, a critical oxygen support in the ICU for Congress? Do you see it that way?
Of course, we see that. See, Jammu Congress has a base. In fact, Kashmir it does not have much cadre or any strong organization, excepting one or two people who have their own base, like the All India General Secretary, Mr. J. Mir. He has his own support, and some support with Mr. Kara, the present, JKPCC president. Rest, I don't think there is, as an organization, there is much in Kashmir. And whatever seats they have won, I think 4 seats they have won today. I believe those are all in alliance with the National Conference. And whereas there had been, some base for the Congress in Jammu, where they have won only one seat they have won from Jammu. So
Okay,
that
okay,
indicates that
okay,
whatever
okay. All right.
seats they have won is because of the alliance in Kashmir, and they have not done fairly there in Jammu where they had a base. That's very obvious. I mean, this is very
All
well
right.
understood.
Okay. And of course, must remember, Congress is relegated to just one seat in Jammu, apart from being, of course, half. But GL Raina, uh, it is a defeat for the BJP. Abrogation of Article 370, statehood, all have been at the center. There have been massive campaigns by the BJP. In fact, Prime Minister Modi, correct me if I'm wrong, I think started his campaign. If you look at what happened in Jammu, he started his campaign itself from Doda. Aam Aadmi Party has won it there. Despite the defeat, BJP has, of course, gone ahead and won that big has won more seats than before. How do you look at this, win or loss?
Good evening, Sneha. Also to my co-panelists, including those who continue to believe that Kashmir is Jammu and Kashmir, even in on this show. So, if 25%, the highest vote share is defeat, Well, BJP has been defeated. If securing more than 3% voters from the highest seat taker, if that is defeat, yes, BJP has been defeated. If getting 29 seats from out of this, that is defeat, surely BJP has been defeated. But who has won? Same-page politicians across the border. BJP sees this as the best performance. BJP sees this endorsement of what Modi ji did for last 10 years, that people came, their faith in democracy was restored. The faith which was demolished in 1987, that faith has been restored by the Bharatiya Janata Party administration, by the Bharatiya Janata Party government, and we see it as huge endorsement of our work which has been done. Winning and losing. You were in your opening remarks.
How do you see it as a reinforcement? Let's look at the numbers. BJP has, of course, improved its tally when it comes to the seats.
Please have a look at the vote share also. We are the highest vote sharers. The highest number of people have supported the Bharatiya Janata Party. It does not always reflect in the
Advocate Neelofar Masood, very quickly, if you can come in. Advocate Neelofar Masood, so here you have the BJP. Mr. Raina very clearly say that you may have won the seats, but the vote share majority has gone to them.
Whenever they lose, they say that they have their number have gone up in by way of the percentage. I'm very sorry to say they should accept their defeat today, and they should be very acceptable to these things. What has happened to the Jammu and Kashmir? They have been campaigning against the Abdullahs, against the dynasty rule from so many years. The smoke screen, in fact, has gone down. It has dashed down to the ground. They should accept the defeat. People of Jammu and Kashmir have negated their rule. They have clearly come up with a mandate that is secular in nature. They should accept it. The corrupt system which was
Tausif Shah, do you want to comment, Tausif Shah, at this point? Tausif Shah, what went wrong? What went wrong? You have two parties here. You have Advocate Neelofar and JL Raina counter each other on who has actually won. But PDP stands nowhere.
Yeah, hi Shreya. Very, very good evening to all the panelists and to you too also. I would just like to say that we stand where we are. We have accepted the people's verdict. Yes, exactly. There has been some mistakes might be there from our end. We accept those. So this is we can see that we grew from just 1 seat to 28 seats, then back to 3 seats. But we should also not forget that this was the lone party out of which 3 parties were craved by BJP. No stone was left unturned to break the party. Our 40 senior leaders and including our MLAs were broken out of the party. So now that's already the past, but the present is what the present is. So we accept this, and by your channel, I would like to congratulate all the winners, the National Conference, the BJP. But one thing I would like to clear to Mr. GL Rana, yes, just let me complete. One thing I'll like to clear to Mr. GL Rana, that they have not neither increased the seat nor they have decreased in the seat, because they got the seat share was 25 out of 37 seats in the Jammu region, and now this is 29 out of 43 seats. So if we check for the, if we approximately check for the percentage, so we can see that they have retained, they have retained their seats. So I can say that in Kashmir, the vote was against the abrogation of Article 370. Maybe in Kashmir, we can say that the vote was against Article 370. And in Jammu, yes, it's obviously that they have voted for the BJP. That means they accepted what BJP has done, and they say that it's good. Because we can only decide with the vote. We can only decide with the vote, and both Jammu and Kashmir have decided.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay, let me just get in Madhavan Narayanan. Madhavan Narayanan, is that how you see it as well? When it comes to abrogation of Article 370, have Jammu and Kashmir, both of them, have they voted differently? Is that how you see it? Because quite frankly, it's of course a big resurrection for NC, but any other party when it comes to it, the picture is very different.
Yeah, I think there are no surprises there, Sneha. I think Jammu has been a Hindu-dominated region with a Dogari population, and entire Jammu and Kashmir was once ruled by a Dogra king, Maharaja Hari Singh. So there has always been this Hindu-Muslim thing in the valley and beyond. So Article 370 was basically a very smartly designed tool for by the early post-independence Congress and Indian nationalists to create what eventually became a nice slogan for Vajpayee when he became prime minister, which is Kashmiriyat, Hindustaniyat, and Insaniyat. So Article 370 protects or at that point gave a very important assurance to the Kashmiri people that, because please remember, this is the 1950s and 40s where Jinnah and others were talking about a simplistic division of the subcontinent based on Hindus and Muslims. So that narrative suits the Savarkar followers and the Jinnah followers because they say, you take Hindustan, we will make Pakistan, that kind of thing. Whereas the composite culture, with its mosaic of various kinds of Islam, various kinds of Hindu opinion, had to be protected and preserved, and that is where Article 370 became important. But the development of India and the gradual integration of and convincing of Kashmiri people has made Article 370 less relevant, but it doesn't mean that the sense of identity or cultural needs have been defeated. And that is why the victory of National Conference today is important, because it's a victory for those who believe that, and that's the Kashmiri people, that there is a certain degree of autonomy is needed. So democracy is one thing, but within the democracy, a federalist autonomy is important. And that is the message from the verdict in Jammu and Kashmir. Personally, I think it's a weird thing that Jammu and Kashmir should be called one state, because if Uttarakhand can be separated from UP, if Jharkhand can be separated from Bihar, if Chhattisgarh can be separated from Madhya Pradesh, there's no reason why Jammu and Kashmir cannot be two states. So you cannot artificially create a demographic, idiosyncrasy. But it's interesting that although BJP claims a higher vote share, but there are only 2 Hindus in the assembly that has been elected, which is worrying for some liberals, because it basically means that, what we are seeing in Lok Sabha and Jammu and Kashmir assembly are the opposite. The BJP doesn't have any Muslim member in the Lok Sabha.
Okay.
Whereas in the Jammu and Kashmir assembly,
Let me
you will
just
have
get
only
GL
2
Raina
Hindu
on
members.
this.
I'm sorry.
Let me just get in GL Raina. GL Raina, do you want to respond to what Madhava Narayan is saying? You may say that you have increased your vote share. In fact, if you look at the seats, it's largely the same. But where's the representation, if that's what you're talking about, Jammu and Kashmir, and being one entity?
Representation of whom? Who doesn't
Of the
BJP
people.
represent its people?
Across religion. That's what Madhava Narayan is talking about.
No, Madhavji is talking about some Kashmirians, which was buried in 87, 88, when Kashmiri Pandits were pushed out of Kashmir. Where was the Kashmirian then? Where was Madhavan Saab then? Why did not he speak then, at that time? So,
no, I have spoken all the time. I'm sorry. You don't even know me.
Let me complete, sir. Let me have my turn, sir. Please let me complete.
You can't accuse me of saying something.
No, you said
I haven't followed my career.
Where was that?
What kind of ridiculous statements are you making?
What happened in 87? You did not speak about that, sir. You
don't make personal remarks. Stick to facts.
You talked about Vajpayee's Jamhuriyat and Kashmiriyat, but did not talk about what happened to that. And Article 370 was very much there. Article 370 was very much there. Why couldn't it protect minorities in Kashmir Valley? And Kashmir, please, sir, Kashmir is not Jammu Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir are 2 different regions. They have different verdicts, given 2 different verdicts. And we also represent people. We have increased our vote share.
No, it may be 2 different verdicts, but let's take it. It is one union territory as of now.
Yes, definitely.
And it remains for now. There seems to be no change to that. Madhava Narayanan, but please go ahead. How do you respond to what Mr. Raina is saying?
You talk to me? I'm sorry, I didn't get you. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Madhavan
Is that for
Narayan, you
me?
have a right to respond, please.
No, I think the important point to remember is that Kashmir has gone through various phases of very significant political and geopolitical developments, may I add, which has seen 3 wars, and it has had an instance of election rigging in 1987 when Congress and National Conference were in alliance,
That has been restored by the Bharatiya Janata
which
Party.
created what eventually became Hurriyat. So Bharatiya Janata Party has always been in the Jammu region. Let us have no illusions around it. So that is what I'm saying. The idiosyncrasy of the topography as well as the demography of Kashmir is such that BJP can claim certain things by integrating the topography, whereas the demography tells a different story, and the political needs and demands are also very shifting. Sheikh Abdullah, Mufti Muhammad Saeed, and then even the CPM has been there in the valley. There has
That is with the
been a diversity of opinions within even the
so-called. That is my
groups.
point. Congress also came to Jammu and Kashmir in 1965, after 18 years after accession. Why was not Congress accepted?
Okay, let me just get in. Let me just get in. Advocate Ahmad Ayaz. Advocate Ahmad Ayaz, where do you see the government that's elected, whether it be the NC or the Congress, of course, together they're going to be combined in the government. Where do you see them when it comes to abrogation of Article 370, when it comes to statehood, when it comes to the representation, despite the vote share that they have got? Where do you see that differing from what is being discussed at this point?
No, I see the situation will be very challenging for such a combination. As I said, that the people have voted in view of their own difficulties to see that the government is elected. And looking at the aspirations of the people, which have been outlined in the manifestos of various political organizations, political parties, and I don't see in the given situation when a national conference and Congress is forming a government in alliance with each other, which goes in opposite to the BJP, which is at the helm of affairs of the center. I don't see where is the tie-up and how will these things be happening in unity with the enhanced powers of the lieutenant governor. And that too, when this Congress and then the BJP are in total opposite direction. Today, I could hear that some BJP representatives saying that we are happy that this is routed, this Congress is routed in from Jammu. And tomorrow, how do you see their difficulties, their compromises with them when they stand you in front of you as a government? So I see it very much challenging. I don't know how will the present dispensation, whatever formation would be there with National Conference Congress, how would they be seeing the aspirations of the which they too have acknowledged in their true?
All right.
I don't see any possibility as of now, unless some miracle takes place.
Right. Madhavan Narayanan, if I can have you in again. Now, let's look at the mandate. Now, NC is the single largest party. It's in a very comfortable position. It appears that Omar Abdullah can very clearly call the shots, but Congress is going to be along with them. From when Omar was in power earlier to when he is today, Jammu and Kashmir has a very different political landscape. BJP is the second largest party. PDP is completely decimated. Where do you see Omar Abdullah stand when it comes to the crucial decisions? What's the big challenge before Omar Abdullah, despite having a huge mandate? It's not going to be easy.
Absolutely. I think it's important to remember that this victory is not a normal victory. It is not about just going to administer Jammu and Kashmir. It's about upgrading Jammu and Kashmir from union territory to full statehood, and that is the core issue on which National Congress, Conference and Congress are together.
Correct.
on. Jammu and Kashmir has been taken back politically. because Article 370's abolition is one thing, but why was statehood not kept in the table? So statehood is the first priority. Article 370 or anything that looks like it, maybe 371, some provision, all that is far away. I think that will be the top priority. And Mr. Omar Abdullah, if he's been seeing states like Bengal and Tamil Nadu and Kerala and how governors are being used by the BJP, he will be extra careful because this is not an easy pitch to bat on for any batsman, politically speaking. So his priority will be to consolidate his popularity and prove the fact that this mandate is for the restoration of statehood to Jammu and Kashmir. And there's a lot of money raining on Kashmir, and hopefully it won't stop just because BJP is no longer in command there. So there will be a lot of workmanship-like approach on this issue. And I also see that the India Alliance as a grouping will have a role to play in this, because that is the only way, BJP is very powerful at the center, and Kashmir is a special state, a border state. Even as recently, Pakistan, in spite of its economic weakness and diplomatic isolation, has not really let down its guard on Kashmir. So there's a lot of work to do.
Correct.
And Omar Abdullah, the mandate is solid, but the challenges ahead are much more daunting.
And even if India Alliance does come together, the numbers are still going to be challenging in the parliament if you look at it. But Tausif Shah, when you look back at the elections, the results that's come in today, do you really regret, does the party really need to review how it pitched statehood? Because quite frankly, NC and Congress was strong on that. Whether they'll be able to deliver that or not is going to be a challenge that we all will have to follow very closely. But PDP, was it caught on the back foot?
No, we can say on that this time the people have voted very clearly and cleverly. They didn't want the fractured mandate. They didn't want the mandate where tomorrow the parties would say that no, somebody has pulled out of the alliance, so we could not restore the statehood. We cannot restore the Article 370 like they have mentioned all. So they gave a clear mandate to the alliance. It's a very clear and clear-cut mandate that we take it as that people have clearly voted for one largest party who can deliver. So this is what we think about it.
Right. JL Raina, the last word from you possibly, JL Raina. When you look at the elections, when the government is going to be sworn in Jammu and Kashmir, what different is the BJP going to do? Are you willing to give in to statehood demand? Because you have NC as well as Congress, both came into the picture. They're very strongly mooted for statehood. But the power really, the numbers really are with the BJP, with its alliance in the parliament.
Sneha, statehood is not the issue of national conference. They have promised restoration of 370, Article 370 and 35A. They have fought their election on that. Statehood is what was promised by the Prime Minister, Home Minister and Bharatiya Janata Party. It will be restored by the party. They have promised in their manifestos, in their every lecture, they were talking about 370. They have to deliver on that. They have to deliver on social welfare schemes. They have to deliver on 5,000 per family per month. They must work on that. They must not use toilet tax like Himachal Pradesh here to mobilize resources. They must increase the old age widow pension which they have promised. They must work on their manifesto. Statehood is not an issue of their party. They have later on thought when they saw that statehood is coming, they stick to that. They are actual.
Advocate Ahmad Ayaz, very quickly, do you want to come in? Statehood is not an issue, is what BJP still maintains.
So they say Article 370 was their main issue. Restoration of what happened on 2019.
Despite the commitment in the parliament by the Home Minister that it would be restored, and then some comment in between by the courts also, they stand committed to restore it. But I still see difficulty with the formation of government between National Conference and Congress. I still see difficulty. Of course, it needs to be done. Unless that is done, how will the government function? So that's what I say.
But do you see statehood? Is
Unless-
it a major issue?
unless
Because the
state-
BJP is saying statehood is not an issue at all. Is that how the is that
That's
how
okay.
is that how JNK has voted? Because that's not exactly how the Congress and NC pitched their campaign at all. Is that an issue? Is that a big issue on which the party has ridden to power?
Restoration of
that easily going to be restored. It's not that easily going to be restored as they see, because most of the things automatically will get settled with the restoration of the state. The 370 and other things that may be far off. That's a big thing. But other issues which are concerned to state, the aspirations of the people with regard to their own difficulties, like power concession of 200 units, or something from the jailers somewhere outside, and some relief to them, and then the repeal of PS Public Safety Act, or the rights under 35A which have been withdrawn. I mean, after state is restored, then possibly these things could be talked about. I don't see without restoration of the state anything can be done. And now that when the BJP knows that after state is restored, all these things will be done by the government of that Congress. So I see difficulty there, whether they will be doing it now so easily. Unless there is some bargaining.
GL Raina, very quickly, and I need to go to Madhavan Narayan after that. GL Raina, please respond very quickly. They're saying BJP is going to be on a back foot. BJP is going to try their best not to do so. You are already saying statehood is not an issue. Here you have somebody who is from the state saying that has been the key issue towards restoring a lot of other things and other issues that need to be tackled. GL Raina.
Sneha, please listen to my words. That manifesto of both National Conference and Congress are talking about August 5th, 2019. They are talking about restoring that right. But I am saying them, okay, that may take a little time. What about social welfare schemes? BJP is going to remind them that your manifesto, you have promised these things. Where are they? Why are it 5,000 rupees per family per head per month? So they must deliver on that. They will have to deliver on those things. BJP will not allow them to escape from that if they form the government.
Okay, I'm totally out of time, but Madhavan Narayanan, please respond to what you've heard both the panelists speak, but also I want to ask one more question to you. You could take that on once you've responded to that, and let's just very quickly finish the show with the national picture. The recent parliamentary elections also, the abrogation of Article 370, statehood of Jammu and Kashmir, that was not an isolated issue. It was a pan-India issue. So while there's a new elected government in Jammu and Kashmir, you also have some very important elections that are going to be panning out. The results that one has seen, the positioning of Congress, all of this is also going to have an impact on India Alliance. But first, to the back and forth that you heard on Jammu and Kashmir.
I think it's a rhetorical question. We have to understand that it is for the Constitution of India and the National Parliament to decide on things like Article 370 or the Supreme Court. But what Mr. Omar Abdullah will do is to essentially, along with Congress, politically convey the fact that the popular mandate is for restoration of the statehood to Jammu and Kashmir as the first step to eventually, it's like saying we will play the first innings first because second innings can wait. So it doesn't mean that they are not interested in the second innings, but the focus will be on statehood because 370 is further away. Now, as far as social welfare scheme, BJP has a right to demand and say anything, but the broad mandate as we interpret it today, it's just like Haryana. Congress in Haryana, Congress will say, we have lost, but we don't accept the verdict. The BJP can say the same thing in Kashmir. So the real question is, what does the mandate mean in terms of our interpretation based on the numbers? The numbers very clearly say that the statehood and 370 are very important issues from a popular, the average Kashmiri's point of view. That's what I'm saying. And that will be conveyed and hopefully take shape nationally through the India Alliance. That's the only way to go. Otherwise, the Supreme Court has to say something on an issue which is very complicated.
That's right. In fact, it's going to be interesting how this pans out. And as we have been saying, the elections, I think we're totally out of time, Madhavan Narayanan. But as we have said, the mandate is very clear in Jammu and Kashmir. The numbers are very telling. But on the decisive issues that have decided this verdict, it's going to be seen whether it's going to be the parliament or the court that's going to make the final call. Nonetheless, the big mandate for Omar Abdullah in this, Advocate Neelofar Masood, who had to leave us a while earlier, GL Raina, Advocate Ahmad Ayaz, Tausif Shah, as well as Madhava Narayanan. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's time for a very short break. On the other side, we bring you the latest in the big stories, the big wins, the big losses through the day.